Hey everyone, welcome to the House of Fi. Today we're going to be taking a little bit of a dive into investing. We're going to be talking to beginners who want to know what dollar cost averaging is. So stick around, wait around for about 6 seconds, and we'll be right back. Hey everybody, welcome back to the House of Fi. I am Wendy and I'm one half of the House of Fi podcast. If you're new here, welcome to our house. Missing is my better half, Curtis, but that's all right because we're going to be diving into some beginner information for new investors. Not that I am an investing expert, I totally am not, but if you're a beginner, I have been where you are. And it's good to know these things so that you know what to do, how to manage your money. Our podcast is all about helping moms and dads on the road to financial independence. We want you to save more, spend less, and build your wealth. So, knowing all about dollar cost averaging is something that you should know. So, let's dive in. What is dollar cost averaging? In its simplest form, all dollar cost averaging means is investing some cash on a regular basis. So there's a couple different ways that you can do this. The most well-known, I think, way is how you do with your 401k at your work or your 403b, where you have a set amount of money that goes into your investment accounts via your employer into a retirement account every single month. This is called dollar cost averaging, and really what it means is that you are putting in, let's say you do $500 a month every single month on the last payday of the month into your 401k, and you have that, then the chosen investment for that is, let's just say my husband's employer allows him to invest in a Vanguard mutual fund. So let's just use that as our example. So every single month we're depositing $500 of money of his income into his 401k, but the actual investment or fund that it's going into is a Vanguard, a mutual fund. So how dollar cost averaging works is, let's say when the market is up, he's still putting in $500 and the market is up. At that time, he's maybe able to buy, let's just call it 20 shares. Well, when the market goes down, those shares in that mutual fund cost less, and so maybe the next month he's able instead to buy 22 shares. When it goes back up, he's again able to buy less, and when it goes down, he's able to buy more and his money goes farther. The second way that you can dollar cost average is to, let's say for instance, you have a large sum of money. Maybe you have gotten a large life insurance payout or an inheritance or some other large sum of money, but you are nervous about putting the whole thing into the stock market at one time because you're concerned that, what if something crazy happens like a pandemic and the market tanks, and you don't want to lose all the money that you put in because you didn't know that this thing was coming. So instead what you do is you decide to break that amount up into certain increments, and then you deposit that amount, let's just call it $10,000 a month, every single month for the next 10 months. Let's say you got $100,000. That would also be a form of dollar cost averaging. The third way to invest that is not dollar cost average is to simply do just a lump sum investment, and that's where you just put an amount into the market. That's a lump sum investment. So that's how it's distinguished from dollar cost averaging. So why would someone dollar cost average? Well, we've kind of gone already over the first reason that someone might dollar cost average, and that is because it mitigates the risk of some future, big decline, and takes away that risk of having this one event take out a whole bunch of your earnings. That's one reason. And because you're dollar cost averaging, you're spreading that over time. Now, the downside to that is, let's say that there the markets continue to go up, every single time you're making a deposit, you are losing out on that lower dollar amount per share. I also wanted to take a second and apologize for the quality of the video this time around. I've been recording with my iPad, which has a much better picture, and I'm able to use a lapel mic with that. But for whatever reason, it has been recording very inconsistently, and so sometimes it would take a few takes, and it just got to be very frustrating. So I figure I would sacrifice a little bit of film quality or screen quality just to save myself a little peace of mind. So hopefully I'll be able to get a new camera one of these days, but for now this is fine. Anyway, so back on track. What are some other reasons that people would want to dollar cost average? Another reason that someone might want to dollar cost average is that it takes the emotion out of the equation. So typically these are set up on automatic withdrawals or transfers, and it's just happening. It's on autopilot. And that way you're kind of protected from that impulse when we see either big fluctuations up or down in the market that might tend to make us make decisions in that moment of emotion. So by dollar cost averaging, it kind of removes one set of barriers to that emotional decision making, which I think is a good thing. And it ties into one of the other benefits, I think, of dollar cost averaging is that if you don't have large sums of money to invest in the market at one time, but you really don't want to miss out on investing, dollar cost averaging is really the way to go. So maybe you don't have thousands of dollars to invest in the market, but you can afford, a few $100s here and there from your paycheck every payday. It really allows you to participate in investing without having large sums of money. And now that there are ETFs available and fractional shares available, it's a really good opportunity for people who need to use their income for investing to actually invest, which is wonderful. Now, the downside, and we talked about this a little bit already, is that the market almost always goes up over time. And if you look at the accompanying blog post to this video, I will have put in a graph in there that shows where the market has gone in the last several decades. And if you look at it, though there are dips here and there, overall the market has gone up. And what that means for someone who dollar cost average is in the short term, they're losing out on funds. And if you line up someone who has placed a lump sum in the market over a period of time versus someone who has dollar cost averaged over that same period of time, the person with the lump sum invariably always earns more. However, I don't want that to discourage you from dollar cost averaging if that is what fits your circumstances best. And so when you're making a decision about whether or not you should dollar cost average, these are the things that you should take into account. Each form of investing has its own risks and advantages. So what we've already discussed before is that with a lump sum, your advantage is that you're typically going to earn more money than you would by dollar cost averaging in the same period of time. However, the risk, as we have explained before, is that the market takes a downturn after you have put that investment in and you lose money. But the flip side of that is the market always goes up. So eventually you will realize those gains back again. It's just a matter of time and patience. You could also dollar cost average with a lump sum, and we've talked about the pros and cons about that already. The disadvantage is that over time it's not going to make the same amount of money as it would have if you had just placed it all in the market at once. However, again, the market always goes up. You're going to earn money no matter what. You just are missing out on some of those gains you would have had with a lump sum. The advantage of it, of course, is that it mitigates that risk. It's the exact opposite of investing as a lump sum. Now, dollar cost averaging with your income. Now, it may not earn as much as investing with a large lump sum, but the time that you're out of the market, you're still always missing out on opportunities. So if all you have are the funds that you would only be able to dollar cost average, I wouldn't just sit on any money. If you have shored up your emergency funds, you have those sorts of reserves in place, and you need to invest money for your retirement, the time is always now to do that. It's just a matter of deciding, what vehicles are best for you. But if you have a lump sum, I wouldn't hold on to it. It's really just a matter of deciding whether or not you're going to dollar cost average or invest the whole thing. And I will say that we are in the middle of COVID. So behind me, you see one of my little ones, Isaiah, walking around. Sorry about that. Um, he's going to go sit down now on the bed, which is where he's supposed to be. Thanks, bud. All right, guys. One of the other benefits of dollar cost averaging is that you can basically set it and forget it. Well, almost. Absolutely, it's really awesome that when you're doing dollar cost averaging, you can pretty much put it on autopilot. But I would just caution that that doesn't relieve you of any sort of responsibility of going back in and checking on it every once in a while. You don't want to be checking it all the time, but you do want to check on it out every now and again. Make sure that it's in the best fund that it should be in, that, if things are changing in the market, that you have the best allocation that's appropriate for you and your circumstances. Whether or not you're in the wealth accumulation phase of investing or wealth preservation phase. And I'm going to link an article from J.L. Collins down in the blog that will tell you, kind of explain what that is, whether you're building your wealth or whether you're in the, retirement phase of wealth where you need to keep it where it is. And then the final thing that I just want to say is, if you're a beginner and all of these terms are just new to you, don't worry. We were beginners too 3 years ago. We were $1 million in debt. We have since gotten rid of about $650,000 worth of debt. When we first started this journey, we were not putting hardly any money into our retirement, maybe 5%. We've now increased that to 30%. We're shoring up our reserves. We're investing in our retirements. We're in such a better place, and we know so much more than we did when we first started this journey. So if you're a beginner too, hang in there. I've linked a couple of resources in the blog where we have gone to get just some really great information. I've mentioned one of them, and that's J.L. Collins. He has a fantastic book called The Simple Path to Wealth that he wrote for his daughter. So it's really just in plain terms. It's no fluff. It's just some really good principles for anyone who wants to achieve financial independence. So I hope that you have enjoyed this video, that you have found it helpful. I hope everybody stays safe out there. I know that we're in a really bizarre time right now, once in a lifetime thing. So be healthy, be safe, practice social distancing. And if there's anything that we can do to support you on your financial independence journey, please let us know. And don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell if you like what you've heard and you want to hear when we have a new video out. All right, everybody, take care. Have an awesome day. Bye.